Okay, looks like I'm gonna do the live stream this way today. What's up, everybody? I know I just hopped in here to the live. Wish I could share my screen. I still just might pick up my phone and turn it around, get you guys a little bit of the resources I wanted to share today. So apologize if this format isn't in the traditional way we do it. I know normally we're on Zoom. Zoom was just giving us a really hard time today. I couldn't get access to the account I needed. Thus, we're here doing it this way. So if you're gonna hop on here live and hang out with us, that's great. Glad to see you. Probably a lot of you will end up catching the replay and commenting, what happened? I know, I'm sorry. I'm not perfect. Try to get it right, but looks like a number of you are joining. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hang out for not too long, say like another minute or so, just to let people find the video because it took me a little bit. So if you're here hanging out and I saw someone already like this, do me a favor, hit the like button and drop a comment here just so we can get it to other people in the group. Like I said, every single week we are typically trying to do this on the Zoom link, but today you got me here. So that being said, what we're going to cover today is the fastest way to book sales calls today. I know we're getting into the holiday rush. A lot of people are, truly and bluntly, if they were in a place where they just booked more consistent meetings and opportunities for their business, they'd be a lot happier. They'd make a lot more money. They'd make a lot more impact. But so many of us are caught up in the weeds of either fulfillment or busy work marketing, like playing with content or trying to have a landing page or webinar do all the heavy lifting and selling for us. It's challenging, right? So what I want to get into today is how you can book sales calls, the fastest way to do that. I'm going to give you a couple of options to do it, kind of based on where you are at. So if that sounds good, we're going to get into it. And I'm excited to share this with you. So 2 paths I'm going to present to you on today's call. Again, goal, book sales calls as quickly as possible. Make sure they're actually high quality and legit people we can help and serve, right? So 2 doors. First door is going to be people that you don't know. Second door is going to be people that you do know. I'm going to provide a resource here on this call. I'll flip my camera around, like I said, and show you what I was going to screen share. And you can hopefully utilize that to execute on some of what I'm going to be teaching you here. But I want to first start not with the people you do know. I want to start with the people you don't know, because the people you do know are the fastest way to get sales calls booked. It's probably obvious to you how you can leverage current people you know to get referral opportunities, to connect you with other people you know. But the way that once you exhaust that, because if you are in a big place where you're an absolute beginner, or you don't have any of those connections or any clients to start with, I get that. So I'm going to give you this option. If you have maybe already exhausted all of these options, or you've done this a while back, maybe it's a good time to try and do it again with new people you've met and the network that you've grown. But let's, again, first talk about talking to and booking calls with people you do not know. Okay, there is one thing that people are allergic to that will get them the quickest results. Again, in the scale of what you could be doing to generate sales calls, when you go put a message out into the market and you are waiting and expecting a response, or you have to do it in a volume play, right? Where you're sending out X number of emails or social DMs or whatever per day. The idea is you're going to have to reach a point of enough volume to get enough positive responses back, because you're putting that ball in other people's court to respond to you when it's convenient for them. So the one thing you can do and I've used two different phrases. One is shortening the sales cycle, and 2 is manufacturing luck. How do you get luckier? How do you get more people to book sales calls with you? Is you cut out the waiting time. And how you do that is you pick up the phone. I wish I was on Zoom here because I could pick up my actual phone that I'm doing this on and hold it up to your faces. That's where you'd start. Now, there is a spectrum of cold calling, to a phrase that doesn't exist. I'm just going to use it, hot calling. And I'll explain the spectrum, right? Cold calling, absolute strangers, never talk to you. Doable, but challenging, not very fun. Hot calling, again, made up phrase, but would be anyone who's like already interested in working with you. Past lead who opted into your Facebook ad a couple weeks ago. Someone who wanted to work with you 2 months ago, but never actually signed up officially. Okay, those are people you need to, without question, get comfortable picking up the phone and having that conversation. Force their hand in a polite, professional way, and just find out, are they in a place where this still makes sense for them and they want to continue the conversation, or if they're all good. And if they're all good, that's fine. At least you now have the answer, and you're not just waiting for hopefully get more responses back. Like, you created your luck and went out there and had the conversation. So Again, some of you here hopping in, thank you for hanging out. I apologize again, we're not on the Zoom link today. We're just going to do it here. So I'll send people the recording here in the group, and we're going to just chip away. And again, the topic today, how to book sales calls as quickly as possible. Ideally, some today and even tomorrow if you can make it happen. And I know you can. If you're on the West Coast right now and you do some of what I'm suggesting, you may get sales calls booked for later today and even in tomorrow. So that being said, let's go back to the calling spectrum, right? Now, in the middle is something we call warm calling. If you've been a part of this community for any amount of time, you've seen us do this in different capacities, whether it's the hot wing hotline, cold call shot line, wheel of misfortune, and we will call leads that our clients have already had some sort of previous touch point with. They're not like a super hot active buyer. They're not a cold lead, but they're somewhere in the middle, right? Someone who they connected with on Facebook or replied to them on LinkedIn or ghosted them, a couple months back. And when we pick up the phone and reference that touch point, it makes that conversation a lot easier. So again, if I was going to distill this down to like, how do you book calls with people you don't know as quickly as possible? You pick up the phone. Ideally, you're doing that in a warm call format where you've established some touch point first. So what I like to do is DM their business on social media or connect with them on LinkedIn or Facebook. Just send them something. I don't care if they don't respond, but you get to now reference that when you pick up the phone and call them, which not only is an excellent pattern interrupt, but it allows them to give you a second to think about giving you the time of day. It allows you to get past gatekeepers pretty easily too. Now, let's say you're in a place where like, I want to make it even happening faster, Brian. Okay, here's the uncomfortable shit. You're gonna have to pick up the phone, you're gonna have to cold call some businesses. And I'm gonna give you an exact frame that I wrote for a client today. It's my new favorite frame for doing this. Again, this could work well for warm calling as well, but we're talking, Brian, how do I book sales calls right now? It's the one thing that's probably the most uncomfortable and most scary to all of you. So I'm gonna get you this script that I put together for a client. I'll read it out here for you. Essentially, before I say the script, you guys have seen us, again, hopefully do some of this live. It's not exactly the words you say, because you're gonna say it a little bit differently every single time, and that's okay, but here's the general frame, right? Hey, I'm reaching out because I found you guys online and I see you've got a solid reputation. We actually work with a number of restoration companies and send them more jobs. And we just opened a spot in Dallas for a reliable pro. Looks like you guys do some amazing work. And I was just looking to see if you were in a place where you could take on more jobs. Or are you guys currently maxed out? So again, I didn't even read it exactly how I wrote it down here, but that's the frame. I like to play to the ego by suggesting, hey, looks like you got a solid online reputation. The reason why I'm reaching out is we send X niche more patients, jobs, X, this is the thing we do. And now you're not just gonna get into talking about it, you're gonna ask them if it even makes sense, but again, by playing to that ego, like, hey, the reason I'm reaching out is we actually had a spot open in Dallas, Texas, whatever city you're calling in, like, hey, there's a spot open for just a reliable pro. Looks like you guys, have a lot of customers saying nice things. So I wanted to just personally reach out and see if, something like this could be helpful for your business or not really. And now you're asking for confirmation, affirmation, and just permission that is this even something that they care about or want to do, right? I also personally like to coach, never taking the first no for its face value. Always dig in a little bit. A lot of times people are going to default to, oh no, we're good. You have to pry a little bit. Oh, I get that, but let me ask. So you're saying like you're totally happy with the lead flow of that you're getting and the amount of patients you're bringing in, and you don't think you can handle more if I showed you how? And then you can anchor this with a confidence statement of telling them why they should do it. Like, look, I promise you, if you give me just 10 minutes, a little bit later this week, I know not right now, I can show you how this works. And even if we never work together, I know you're gonna get a lot of benefit from this phone call. So that is a really healthy frame where you're playing the ego, telling them there's an open spot, which is why you're calling them, and just to see if it would be helpful or useful to them. If it's not, it's totally fine. And you have that indifferent attitude. This is how you can make it happen. And I swear, if you commit to just dialing 10, 20, 30 people a day and you practice this, it will suck and it will hurt, but you will book sales calls faster than anything else. In a perfect world, the most scalable way to grow your business is going to be running paid ads and then booking sales calls with those people. But again, today we're talking what is the fastest way you can book sales calls. I know we got a number of people who hopped on here a little bit later. What's up? Thank you. So there's two paths. I want to go kind of zoom back out. This first path was people you do not know. So I discussed what that looks like in the spectrum of picking up the phone and calling. Now let's talk about the easier, should be lower hanging fruit that most of you should have and be able to tap into, which is the people you do know. And we have a new training we brought into the community. It's not necessarily new, it's updated. It was about 3 years old. It was called the Race to Revenue. And I wanted to bring that to this call today just to show you guys some of what is inside of that so you understand how do I approach my connections without being slimy or weird. Because that's what most people are concerned about, right? They don't want to be slimy or weird when they are connecting with their, friends, family. And I'm not trying to sell or solicit these people. We're just opening the door to a conversation to see if they know someone. And if they are interested, they get to raise their hand. So let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen in a moment. I'm going to flip my camera around and just show you guys this worksheet that I have. You can execute everything we're talking about today and hopefully get some wins from this, because this is the meat of what I want to get into. So I'm not going to go through the entire SOP or try to hold my phone up while I do this, but I'm going to go through the high level part here, not the software, the phrase, whatever, the metaphor, I don't care. Let's get into it. Okay, 4 steps. That's 3. 4 steps. I can do math. I can count. My daughter's messing my brain. She goes 1, 2, 4, counting. 1, 2, 7, 9. I'm losing my mind trying to teach her how to count. It's all good. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to compile your list. Okay, I'm going to give you guys avenues by which you can compile this list, but that's the first thing you do. So if you're taking notes, you want to follow along, write this down. Compile your personal and professional lists. I'll show you exactly what that means in a moment. Then number 2 is you're going to send personalized messages. We're not doing AI shit here. These are people people that trust you. Let's treat them as such. We're going to personalize some messages. I'm going to show you exactly what to say in the messages. The third part, most important part that people fumble and feel awkward or slimy about, but I'm going to show you how to not do that. You bridge your conversation to an opportunity. And then the final piece, I just like to send personal thank yous, right? Whether that's a personal written thank you or that is a gift. It's not something you have to do every single time, but it really just showcases appreciation and reinforces the habit for them to want to and even care about referring you. So that being said, let's get into these steps in more detail. Compile your personal and professional list. So for your professional list, this is going to be any current or past clients, any current or past leads, and any old or new friends in the industry. So this could be people who you're connected with on social media, phone contacts, email contacts, but anyone who you are potentially connected to in your industry, past clients, past leads, current leads. Cool. Professional list, that is where you start. Some of you may have already, I'll show you, I'll explain an exaggerated, extreme version of what I'm coaching here. One of our clients who uses high level, the software, they have different stages of their pipeline and where different people are, and dozens of people over the years of them just running their business. So they sent a personalized message based on where every single person was at the different stage. And they got 6 sales calls booked in 12 hours by just doing this, because they sent out a couple of messages based on where people are. So you may not have that as organized. That's okay. Like I said, it's an exaggerated version, but you do have this somewhere, right? You have it in your brain, hopefully somewhere else like Trello, Monday, Google Docs, spreadsheet, I don't care, wherever you have it written down somewhere, that's where you can start to compile it. But again, social media contacts, email contacts, phone contacts, in your actual phone are a good place to start. Cool. Personal list, again, looking at your email, social media, and phone contacts. That is a solid place to build out your personal list. And then other considerations that you may or may not have, but any religious organizations or affiliates, any alumni groups or clubs, trade school, graduate school, country clubs, friends, family, those also can fall onto the personal connections list as well. And again, I'm going to show you how to reach out to these people in a way that doesn't feel weird. So we have our list, right? You compiled them, great. Now we're going to write out our messages. So I am actually going to pick up my phone, hopefully not screw this up too bad, turn my camera around. Let's see if I can do this without being too awkward here. And I'm going to give you, I can't turn my phone while recording. Okay, great, thank you. So here's some scripts, guys, right? Here's what we can send to current clients. It's pretty straightforward, right? These are current clients. They should want to and be able to speak with you. Don't overthink it, just ask them for time. For past clients, here is a script you can send to them. Earn a message framework. Again, don't have to copy it word for word, make it make sense for you. And then for any stale or old leads that you have, this would be a good framework to send out, right? So this covers pretty much your professional message framework. And again, your goal is not to make a deal or figure out all the logistics over an email. It's to get them on a phone call and to hash that out, see where you guys can support each other, refer each other. And this can range, right? This can go anywhere from, say, referral partners to just direct referrals, maybe they want to work with you. And again, I'll explain that here in just a moment. So getting to your personal message framework, hat tip to Hormozy. I think I spelled his name wrong, there's an O in here. Anyways, Hormozy for kind of compiling some of these initial thoughts, which I really like and we kind of ran with. But this idea of the ACA framework, this is what he came up with, right? Acknowledge, compliment, and ask. So here would be an example of a message you could send to a personal connection where you're just going to acknowledge based on some quick research, something they've been up to. So you can actually like connect on a human level. Hey, how's the fam? How's the new house? How's the new job? What's been going on with you in X location you're living at? So just something like that. And again, depending on who you know, you may not need to have even compliment them. Sometimes that's nice and can kind of grease the wheels a little bit, but not totally necessary. So again, I want to show you that you make your ask, and this is how you kind of bridge that conversation into an opportunity. So these are just a couple of other logistical notes. If you guys want to come back here later, I'm sorry, I'm trying to hold this and see how many people are here as well. Alex is saying, everyone come join us. So he's hosting 2 separate calls, and I'm gonna do my best to see if I can make this happen. So hold on one second, because this is not working today how we normally do it, so I apologize. Well, he didn't get back to me or text me, so frankly, I'm just gonna keep going here. This is my show today, so we're running it my way, fam. All right, guys, now we gotta bridge the conversation, right? Because you reached out to your personal connections and you acknowledged something, you complimented about what's going on. Now, how do we bridge that without being awkward, right? So after they reply, it's this concept of invite their friends, right? And depending on what you sell, again, it could be invite their colleagues, etc. But hey, by the way, do you know anyone who's possibly looking for X thing? Now, again, if you're reaching out to your grandma and seeing if she knows any HVAC business owners, because that's the niche you're working with, probably a little tone deaf, probably not going to work well. So measure the ask, but this is a really great way to just make this ask of somebody. And what happens is we're not going to solicit them, right? There's a message here. Yeah, the goal is not to solicit them, but to ask if they know anyone that they can connect you with. They can ask you for more information, but if they want. That is really the key here. So you're not making it slime. You're trying to solicit them. You're just asking if they know someone who might fit the mold. And then here, I'm not going to get into offers today. This is pretty straightforward stuff. What I really want to do though is show you guys the worksheet that I compiled, and I wish we could be here on Zoom, but essentially in this worksheet, and you can come back here and pause, screenshot this if you want, it just gives you a couple options, right? Here you can compile some current and past clients, some social media connections, maybe some people from your personal list. And I want you just to write out what you would send. What is a message you could send to your current, past clients or leads, people who you're connected with on social media, and people who, from your personal list. But again, guys, we're getting into what is the fastest way to book calls. I'm gonna zoom back out again, metaphorically, and literally here on the video. People you know, people you don't know. People you know, I'd be leveraging these frameworks of just making it simple ask to see how you can have a conversation. A squeaky wheel gets oil. That means if you're not asking, and you aren't going to get fed. Closed mouth don't get fed. There's a lot of different ways to say this, but I think you know what I'm getting at. So leverage those people and those connections you have. Once you exhaust that, and we're going out into how do I book calls people I don't know. Long-term scalability, growing a business, talking about running ads, talking about referral partners, consistent outbound acquisition. But the fastest way to do it today is you pick up the phone. You stop being scared, you pick up that phone, and you make that frame like I shared earlier. I'm gonna say it one more time, it's really valuable. So I'd pick up the phone, and I'd be reaching out and say, hey Bob, or whoever, hey, I'm looking for Bob. You run the roofing company in Dallas, right? Cool, awesome, thanks so much for picking up. I actually found you guys online because you have an amazing reputation, it looks like. We work with a number of roofers as well, sending them job opportunities, and we had a spot open up in Dallas. Are you guys in a place where you can take on, or you're interested in taking on more jobs or bigger jobs, or are you kind of maxed out right now? That's it. That's the frame. Go use it. Run with it. I promise you will get a lot of no's, but in those no's, you will learn a lot about your offer, and you will find the people who do need the help and who do want to talk and need it and who are in market for a solution right now. This is the way. This is the way you can do it quickly and today. One more bonus hack. As you're compiling your list, I would use a tool like D7 Lead Finder or PPC Ad Labs, so it will show you who is actually advertising in a niche, so you're only going to go after and communicate with people you know who are already running ads. It's far easier to get someone to move money around they're already spending than to convince someone who isn't running ads to do that, right? So I would give yourself that little bit of a leg up. Otherwise, this has been the show today, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I was pretty fast, straightforward, and to the point. It was only me today. I didn't have Alex to bounce stuff off, so sorry I got the Zoom link screwed up. Value is still there. Go run with this. Go make money, and let me know when you do. And I will see you guys at the top. Adios. All right, now here's the awkward sign off. I don't know how to do this.